Metal Summoners, what's up?
Yo,
As always, we are super stoked to be here with you guys. We are kicking off the weekend right in the middle of the week where we like it. Nothing says the Metal Summit, nothing says the weekend like a brilliant show on Hump Day. That's exactly how we like to throw down. We are being joined, as always, by an amazing guest, and this is your Island of Misfit Toys. We've got Angel Alamo, and we've got myself. And we are super stoked that we got to meet this gentleman, courtesy of Angel and courtesy of Spirit Airlines.
Yeah,
we are being joined by professional wrestler, actor, and all-round just awesome dude, Andrew Anderson. The Reinforcer is with us tonight.
What's happening, guys?
yes.
How are you, brother?
Well, listen, I got to tell you, Spirit Airlines, they may suck, but worst airline is JetBlue. They lost my fucking luggage. They lost it January 16th. They lost my entire purple haze gimmick, my entire outfit, my purple robe, my everything. Kevin Sullivan, the Taskmaster, has been yelling at me since, why the fuck you fly Spirit Airlines? But I just did a freaking bloody match in freaking St. Louis, and I get back from St. Louis. I had a layover for American flight to Boston. I switched to JetBlue, and then lost my goddamn luggage.
Oh, man.
I had Mark Lewin's original purple haze robe in that suitcase, which was only used for photo shoots, which was the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame wanted to buy it for $7,000.
Damn.
Yep, and I wouldn't sell it.
Big fuck you to JetBlue.
Yeah.
Definitely a big fuck you to JetBlue.
That's crazy, bro.
That's an iconic piece of wrestling history that's lost. And I got a beautiful woman running right around behind me over here. Come here, pretty lady. My fiance, Karen.
Yeah, because we have a congratulatory announcement we get to do on the Metal Summit tonight, man. Congratulations on your engagement.
Yes.
Yep, show that ring. There you go.
Question is, right, how did you propose?
We met 7 months ago at we met 7 months ago at TSA in Newark Airport, and we've been inseparable since. So what I did was, when we were heading out to the Maldives and to Qatar, actually we're heading to Qatar first, about 10 days ago.
Yeah.
About 10 days ago, we're going to Qatar, and when we're going through in Philadelphia Airport, I sent her through TSA first, and then I'm behind her, and I get caught with something in my pocket. Well, that was the wedding ring. They pull me aside. I say, Karen, get over here. They say, is that your phone in your pocket? I said, no. I pull out the ring. I get down. She starts screaming. Everybody, security comes running over, thinking this is like something really happened, something bad happened. But it was her screaming because she got her engagement ring. We got engaged, and people didn't realize that it was real. They thought it was we were filming a reality show or something,
Oh, wow.
So it was pretty cool. But then everybody was coming, taking pictures with me and everything, and her, and with the love and the bride and everything, the future bride. And,
TSA did not think it was real. They thought we were messing with them.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Really?
They swabbed her ring.
Oh,
they
really?
swabbed her ring, thinking it was like we were smuggling drugs into Qatar,
Oh, man, that's wild.
So, yeah.
But that's a great story, though.
Yep.
I don't think you're gonna get a duplicate story like that.
No, not on that. And it was really cool because we went from Qatar, we went to the Maldives, and we had our own private island, and we had a nice we basically lived on a hut right on the beach, and it was cool. I mean, it was in the middle of the Indian Ocean. We went fishing, we did everything, snorkeling. What else we did? We just
fed sharks.
And
Damn.
it was
Caught a shark.
And she caught a shark. She caught a triggerfish, and she pulls up this triggerfish, and like a 6-foot reef, brown reef shark is attached to the end of the triggerfish, trying to pull her. I was actually going to grab her by her hair to pull her back in the boat, because there was a little lip about 4 inches high, and the freaking Indian Ocean right there, and we're line fishing, and you don't have a fishing pole. You have a glove on with I think 60-pound test line on it. So if you catch a shark, you can reel it in. I don't know how, but we have this line. She has this line wrapped around her finger, or her hands, and I'm trying to pull her back in because the shark is pulling on the thing, and I'm sitting myself. I should have bricked, basically. I thought I got engaged and I'm going to lose her to a shark that same day. So, but everything worked out. The shark let go. We got the fish. We got the pictures to prove it. And then the chef, I caught a barracuda while we were trolling back to the trolling the lines back to the resort and the Metafushi Island where we were staying at. And I caught a barracuda, and we wound up eating the barracuda. We wound up eating red snapper. What else do we have? Tigerfish. Tigerfish, and it was really cool. It was really cool. So
that's awesome.
The chef prepared it for us, and it was awesome. So
that's so cool, man. Yeah, you guys would get along great with my girlfriend, the beautiful young lady who's literally hiding right here, because she's super into Jaws, and she loves when Shark Week comes around every year.
Well, I was supposed to do Chiller Theater. I was supposed to sign at Chiller Theater, and Richard Dreyfuss was there.
Yeah,
so, I've been with Richard Dreyfuss a few times, so I met him a few times. So he's a pretty cool dude.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, my buddy Phil, who does security for Steven Adler and also is Megan's supervisor at her job, he was actually at Chiller doing security there.
Oh, wow. Does he know Greg Woods? You know Greg Woods, right?
I think Greg and I have met like once or twice, just kind of in like passing. But I think Phil might know him.
Greg's a good dude. Greg's a really good dude. So, the funny part is that last year I didn't do Chiller. I wound up doing security for Ace because I bodyguard for Ace Frehley.
Yeah.
So, and Ace is one of my best friends. And speaking of fishing, me and Ace are planning to go taking his boat out and go fishing. We go fishing on a bunch of lakes around, northern New Jersey. So, so Ace Frehley's my fishing buddy. I'm also his bodyguard. Occasionally, lately, I've been wrestling and doing a lot of other things,
nice.
Besides, but I'll be back on the road with him pretty soon because he's got a new album coming out.
Yeah.
Steve Brown and PJ Farley from Trickster and Joey Casado all play on it, all perform on it. I think Steve Brown is producing the album with Ace.
He told me that. So PJ and Steve have been doing their Trickster acoustic thing lately, and they played my friend's record store on Record Store Day like 2 weeks ago, and I
awesome.
went and I've known PJ for years. We'll say with Steve because I'm a Trickster fan. Yeah, but I've been friends with the band Rubik's Cube, who's like an '80s tribute band, like out of New York. I've known them forever. And so I've gotten to know Steve over the years, gotten to know PJ from the, and now he's playing with Fozzy, and all that kind of stuff. But Steve was telling me about producing the new Ace album. So
Steve actually, awesome. Ace played with Rubik's Cube in Manhattan at the where they play?
Was it the Gramercy?
No, it was at I'm trying to think. I'm having a brain fart here. They played at what was the name of the venue? In July, I bodyguarded for them. It was me, Ace's girlfriend, Lara. We came down. They did Cold Gin. They did Rock and Roll Night, which Ace hasn't played Rock and Roll Night since his last tour with Kiss. That was what 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So 18 years ago at the time. So he played a Rock and Roll Night, and it was like falling off a horse. You just don't forget it. So he kicked ass, and it was a good time with that, and so Rubik's Cube, I know those guys and the female singer and everything. She's
Sherry.
She's great. She's awesome. And
absolutely.
her husband's
and I know Ace, and I've known Ace's manager John for years now as well.
Yep, astronomy. Yep, John's a good dude, man. That's me and John have gotten a lot of hijinks on the road. So
I can
John
imagine.
And Phil Delly, his tour manager, road manager, Phil's been with everyone from Anthrax to AJ Perro from Sister, and every band out there. He's friends with everybody. So
here's a fun little thing. We'll rock and roll on the Ace topic for a little while. So M3 weekend is this weekend. So Angel and I are going to do that on behalf of the Metal Summit as well as my own personal website. So we've got interviews that we're doing and stuff like that. And we always just go have a great time, promote the show, and just have a blast. A few years ago for the 10-year anniversary of M3, Ace Frehley played that.
Okay.
Were you there? Were you there for that?
No. 10 years ago,
Sorry, not 10 years ago. It was the 10-year anniversary of M3. So this was about 4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago, I've been friends with Ace for 30 years, but 4 years ago, I was still on the road wrestling full time,
Gotcha.
So, I'm still wrestling pretty much full time. 4 years ago, right before COVID, I think I was in Florida doing a lot of stuff in Florida and SWE Fury in Texas. So I was running in Texas at the time. So in the territories at that time, So
yeah. So
but,
so how did you get involved with Ace to begin with?
Well, Ace and I have been friends for close to 30 years since the Bad Boy tour. Actually before that, and we reconnected. I think in like 2006, 2007. Then we lost touch, and we reconnected again. Then he moved to California, and he was dating Rachel, the crazy broad,
Right?
Rachel Gordon. She's out of her fucking mind. And then eventually Ace moved back to Jersey. He did some shows in New York. And he moved back to Jersey. He met Lara. Lara and I have mutual childhood friends. And Ace and I just want to touching base and hanging out. It was like we never missed a beat. And he bought a house in Jersey. I helped him move. We all did the move ourselves. Me, Ace, a bunch of friends of ours, his old bodyguard, Chris Kiska, John Astronomy, Strosky. We all did the whole thing. We moved him in. I helped him build the studio during COVID. We built an entire studio in the basement. He has a massive studio in there. It's an amazing studio. Ace is into high tech. He's into tech. He's got a high IQ. He's genius IQ, and the guy's got an amazing ability with technology. And he's got the best equipment in the world in his studio. The guy's just amazing, and a lot of people look at him as being kind of spaced out, but he's not. He's unbelievable. He's an unbelievable guy, man. And so we built the studio during COVID, and he wound up going back on tour. And his bodyguard at the time, Jimmy Crowley, wound up breaking his back, and he broke his back, and he couldn't do it anymore. So Ace said, "Who better to watch me than one of my best friends?" So he called me up, and he said, "Do you want to do it?" So Astronomy called me up and said, "Listen, please do it. We really have nobody and everything." And I said, they could have got somebody, but Ace wouldn't be comfortable, so he's more comfortable having me around. So, and if shit hits the fan, there's only one person you're going to call, baby.
Absolutely.
That's me. So, cause I don't play around.
No.
So I want to work with Ace, and we wound up doing it almost like a whole year and a half worth of shows. And it was a good time. And, but I still had commitments. I have to wrestle, So I haven't been able to do this since 2023. I haven't been able to do any of the shows recently, but I'll be back on tour with them this summer. So in the spring and the summer, I'll be on for the rest of the tour.
That's awesome. That's so killer, man.
But also the other thing too is that since Karen and I got engaged, we also have a house in Costa Rica, and we got to go back down there and take care of that, right, baby? Yeah. So we have a house in Costa Rica. So we're going to be going from Pennsylvania to Costa Rica and back and forth. In addition to me running on the road, I got bookings this weekend alone on the 5th. I'm in Hopatcong, New Jersey, wrestling for East Coast Professional Wrestling. Then I go on the 6th. I wrestle at the Palisades Mall in Nyack, New Jersey on a 3:00 show at the Galleria. They have this they draw like 1,500 to 2,000 people at the Palisades Mall, and then I go from there to what's the name of the town? I go to somewhere on another town in Jersey for East Coast Pro Wrestling. I go to that from American Coliseum Wrestling on 3:00 on Saturday on the 6th to I can't think of the name of the town. I do another show for East Coast Pro Wrestling, and then I got a few days off. And then I'm back on the week. We go to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. I'm in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee for Heroes and Legends. So nice. Signing and wrestling. So I'm there with Kevin Sullivan, Boogeyman, Greg Valentine, who's like a dad to me. Kevin Sullivan is like a dad to me. And Tony Atlas and a whole bunch of legends. And, it's going to be a good time. So,
That's awesome.
Man. I got a big fan base in Tennessee and in the deep South. And, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, big wrestling towns,
Yeah, absolutely, man.
As a matter of fact, funny story. My daughter just brought it up to me. She kind of threw it in my face. It was her sweet 16 birthday party we had her Sweet 16 party, and I had to leave. We were at the Florida Keys, and I had to leave her Sweet 16's party because I had to go to Tupelo because Ace and Alice Cooper were on tour, and they were having my birthday party at the hotel, and they threw a party for me, and Ace presented me with this awesome it was an Epiphone guitar. It was a Gibson Epiphone, and he signed it and painted it up, and Alice signed the back of it. It was really cool. So they had a little birthday bash for me, so it was really cool. So, and John Astronomy was really the one of the guys who really made that happen for me. So I love John, you know.
That's so cool, man. Yeah, John's a great guy. You know, his band Like It's fantastic.
Listen, I love Jamie. Yeah. Jamie's is a real cool guy. He just went through some rough times with his liver transplant, and you know, Jamie's a really good dude, man. You know, so you know, but yeah. So I mean, as far as Ace goes, that's been my connection with Ace. I met Ace through Peter actually because Peter was doing his tour in 1990. I want to say 1991 or 92. And he wound up playing at the Rock Quarry in New Jersey and Fairview, New Jersey, and I wound up becoming tight with him and his tour manager at the time. And then when they did the Bad Boys tour, they came to the string of shows in New York, New Jersey. They called me the bodyguard for them, and I wound up meeting Ace through that, and I wound up connected with Ace. And me and Ace would go to the China Club, would go to the Bottom Line, would go to all these different places and just hang out and party. That was the crazy days, man. That's like. Wow. I mean, the drugs, the alcohol, the consumption was just so fucking the excess, you know? I mean, and me being a wrestler, I had an addictive personality to begin with, you know? I mean, fuck, you know, I mean, it was insane. I mean, those days are crazy. I mean, I can't, it's like a haze. And now I'm the purple haze. So, you know, fucking, so.
Absolutely. So, Andrew, let me ask you this, like, answer this, you know, as you see fit, but I think it's interesting for the fans to hear it from your perspective as Ace's friend. You know, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame happened recently with Kiss finally getting in, and there was all this back and forth about, you know, would the band perform together? The guys didn't want that to be the case, and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. What can you say about Ace that the fans might not know? Because it's easy to listen to the two guys of Kiss at the top of the mountain say what they want to say about people's situations. What can you say about Ace, being that you know him so well, that fans don't know about being a good guy and what something like that, because we all kind of feel like that should have happened.
He feels like it should have happened too. You know, I mean, he was willing to play. I mean, yeah, he's proud of his career and everything. And so is Peter Criss. Yeah, I mean, they felt like they should have played. They were the guys who created that whole, you know, they created Kiss, the four of them. It wasn't two people who created it. It was four people. Ace was instrumental. Ace, in fact, is, believe it or not, Simmons and Stanley can argue it, but Ace is the most popular member of Kiss.
Remember what? Of course you remember, but remember when Kiss put out their 4 solo albums?
Ace's was the only one that had hits.
That's exactly where I was going, because it's also the only one that went platinum.
Yep, it's the only one that went platinum. Supposedly they all went platinum because record stores bought millions of copies.
Oh, okay, but at least it went first.
But his went first.
Yeah.
But it was only because the record companies forced it down everybody's throat. So, and not the record, the label made all these deals that the record companies thought it was going to be the hottest seller ever, and they bought all these albums. They bought 4 of you never heard a band putting out 4 albums at the same time. No. You know, that didn't happen in the 70s. So of course the sales were there. So all the albums were certified gold right away, platinum later on. But it was Aces was the one that was really organically became platinum. New York Groove, Rip It Out, Snowblind, all those songs. Rockin', it was a Kiss album, man. Yeah. It was actually an Ace album. Paul Stanley's was more of a Kiss album, right? You know, but you know, I mean, Paul Stanley's really wasn't even a Kiss album too. It was him with Carmine Appice and Carmine Appice, whatever you want to call him, and who's also a great dude. I love Carmine.
Oh, and, Carmine's great.
Obviously, Bob Kulick played on all the guitar on it, you know. So, because you know, I mean, that was the time when Paul could sing, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Ace's album was much more like a Frehley's Comet album, like a real
awesome.
traditional Ace album.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. And Peter's album is much maligned, but you know what? If I listen to that album, if I'm in a bad mood, I listen to Peter Chris's album, it mellows me out.
It's so melodic. Yeah.
It's so
really
melodic.
is.
It's got good R&B songs on it. It's got really good stuff. I mean, look, some of the songs are dated, like You Matter to Me and all these other songs are dated, got that disco theme to them. But, you know, people are still listening to Copacabana by freaking Barry Manilow. So what the fuck?
Absolutely, man. No, 100% for sure. Angel, let's bring you in, my friend, because it also looks like we've got some comment action from the Metal Summoners and Andrew's fans and stuff like that. So let's bring yourself in, my good dude, and let's bring in some of the fans.
I'm going to kick it off with Bryant, who has a very good question. How did the presence of Canberra change life as a bodyguard?
Well, you know what? You can't do shit anymore. You know what I'm saying? I can't hit anybody physically. I can't. You know, I mean, everybody's got a cell phone camera out there waiting for me to do something, you know, waiting for somebody to do something to Ace. They want to, you know, you can't basically do the things. Well, you guys should know. You can't party like you used to party. You know, we can't do shit. Big Brother's watching, right? Did I answer his question?
You're right about that. You do nothing.
You can't do shit anymore. You know, I mean, if I punch somebody in the face in 1998, you know, and they have it on film, somebody caught it on film, they'll prosecute me in 2023, you know? I mean, it's the way it is now. I mean, you can't do shit, you know? You can throw somebody out. From what I understand, I know people who work at Lowe's and Home Depot and Best Buy. If somebody steals something, they have to let that person walk out and call the police. Security can't do shit.
Yeah.
It's a whole different world. It's a whole different ballgame. It's all about people suing. It's all about liability, you know?
Yeah.
So, of course, but, you know, with me, it's a little different. If anybody gets in Ace's face, they're going to get their ass kicked.
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
Somebody comes near him, they're going to get their ass kicked. Number one, because he's my friend, you know? I would have took the job when he asked me to do it. I thought I was doing it for free. You know, I was just coming to cover him for Jimmy Crowley was hurt. Jimmy's a great guy. I was thinking I'm doing this for free, and he pays me, and I was like, come on, I want you to go back. I was like, all right, sure. You know what the hell not? Easier bumps. I'm not bumping in the ring. You know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I got to say something too. Funny story. PJ Farley and I go back, way back, about 40 years. PJ's grandmother, Dorothy, was my tenant growing up in my apartment house that my family owned.
Oh, wow.
So I knew PJ from when he was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're both the same age, but we knew each other since we were little kids. So how funny is that? So
that's awesome. Yeah, and because PJ and Steve were also doing story time. It was like a very cool storytellers thing that they did at the gig that I went to. And they were and Steve was talking about like I literally started Trickster when I was 12. That's when I had the name. That's when I wanted to do the band. And then about 5 years later, when I was 17 and PJ was 15, is when he like joined the band.
Yep. They've been around forever, man. They were kids, man, when they basically started. You know, yeah. I think I'm like 4 or 5 years older than maybe I'm pretty much the same age. You know, I'm 55 and I'm still running around in my underwear, and I got a hot girlfriend over here with a sick body. You know.
Yeah, I can see you're all torn up about that. So Andrew, so let me ask you, were you a Kiss fan?
I was always a Kiss fan growing up, and that's one of the funny things is that, you know, I with Ace, I've never been a fanboy. You know, I've never been a fanboy because you know why? Because even though I was growing up a Kiss fan, I became a wrestler before I became Ace's friend, so I knew what it was like to be thrown out into the spotlight at a young age. Yeah. You know, so all of a sudden I know what it's like. You know, I mean, me and Karen have this thing that we never bring attention to my wrestling, right? Whenever we go on vacation or anywhere, we never bring attention to it. Like we were in the Maldives Babe, tell them what happened in the Maldives.
Which part?
Which part about me being recognized?
Oh yeah. So they recognized him in the Maldives. They pulled up his name and said, "You're a wrestler. We're in the Maldives."
Yeah,
know?
it was pretty crazy because they print out pictures. They come to me to sign them, and I'm like, "How do you guys fucking know this? You guys are in the middle of the Indian Ocean, right by Thailand and everything." And it was weird shit, you know. I mean, it was crazy. And then we did this. We had this romantic dinner, and we get this bill. It's supposed to be like $450, and we got a bill for $213. They said, "Oh, we did this discount on you guys," and it was because they were fanboys, you know. They were all fanboys in the place, but I never treated Ace any differently. You know what I'm saying? Me and him were always friends. I mean, I wasn't an ass kisser. I wasn't a yes man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's a good dude, man. I mean, he's a great guy. I love him like a brother, man, like a big brother. And like I said, you know, he went to bat for me so many times. You know, I mean, when I was out of work with during COVID times, I wasn't wrestling. If I don't wrestle, I don't make money. So
Right.
I'm sitting home, and you're not going to survive on T-shirt sales when people don't have food to eat. They're not going to buy your T-shirts anymore. So all your T-shirt sales and your merchandise sales are online and not getting bought because people are just scrounging, pay their rent and pay their mortgages, you know. And Ace, you know, basically put me to work with him and said, you know, I mean, I built the studio with him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I really owe him a lot. He's one of my best friends, and you know, he always took care of me, and I really love him. You know.
Yeah, man. That's absolutely 100% what it's all about. Like,
And I grew up as a man. I had the Kiss dolls. I had the Destroyer T-shirt. I had every album. I mean, look, my first album that I ever got in my life was my father got me the Monkees, More of the Monkees, and yeah, I had the Monkees, and then I had the what other one? Head from the Monkees, and I had all those albums. So I was a Monkees fan. And then all of a sudden, a kid comes over to my house, a friend of mine. I listened to Black Sabbath, I listened to Deep Purple and everything. But all of a sudden, a friend of mine comes over with this album, and it was like it was Kiss Alive. And I'm listening to this album, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? I've never heard anything like it." You know. I never heard anything like it in my life. And then next thing I know, I got the first album. My brother got Dressed to Kill. My brother got Hotter Than Hell. And then we had those. Then I got the originals thinking it was a new album, but it was all reissues of the other ones. And then next thing you know, Destroyer came out. And Destroyer changed my life. You know, Destroyer changed my life. You know, I mean, look, it was basically a Kiss album that was an Alice Cooper album, if you look at it, really, the way I thought about it, you know. So he even had Dick Wagner playing guitar on it when Ace couldn't make it to the sessions.
Right.
So Bob Ezrin produced it. It was amazing. I mean, you know, Angel, would you say something? God damn it!
No, it's all good. No, I got to take the blame for that because I threw a question at you just now when I kicked it to Angel's segment. But no, please, Angel, take it away. I'll be right back because I want to grab something to show Andrew.
Okay. What are you doing? I can't hear you, buddy. I can't hear you. Angel, I can't hear you on my
He's grabbing
end.
some.
Okay, he's got some. I got you now. It froze up on me a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, brother.
Oh, hold on.
There's a little bit of a delay.
Do you have a favorite chili?
I couldn't hear you. What? It's a little broken up.
Hold on. Do you have a? Hold on. Let me fix the Wi-Fi. The Ace Frehley Kiss song.
My favorite song is definitely "Rip It Out."
Nice.
Rip It Out. Rip It Out. Rip It Out is definitely my favorite Ace song. I also love In the Night, Into the Night. That's another great song. Angel's frozen up on my end.
Oh, did he? Angel,
Yeah.
you still with us, buddy?
And that's because I got internet.
Oh, no problem,
Yeah.
dude. We got you.
All right, you're back.
All right. What is your wrestling persona?
Well, I play the
Wrestling
reinforcer,
question
which
from
is
Brian.
basically really not much of a difference between me and my wrestling persona. You know, I basically get in the ring as Andrew Anderson, beat the shit out of people, and they call me the reinforcer because Arn Anderson was the enforcer. So years ago, Crowbar Chris Ford says, why don't we call you the Reinforcer? So I became the Reinforcer. Originally, I started out in the business as Nikolai Volkov's tag team partner, the Siberian Tiger. And when Boris Zukov retired as the Bolsheviks, I came in with him for a little bit, so it was pretty cool, but then later on, people came to me and said, the Cold War's dead. You can't play this character. It was early 90s. So I became Andrew Anderson, and that's basically who I am. And now Kevin Sullivan brought the whole Army of Darkness thing back, and they brought me in as the new Purple Haze. So for the past 4 years, I've been the Purple Haze until I lost my fucking robe and my luggage in JetBlue. So we'll reiterate that. Fuck you, JetBlue.
Nice.
Fuck you, JetBlue.
That's right.
Airlines.
Yeah.
Spirit Airlines. Me and
I'd rather
Angel,
fucking swim with sharks and get kicked in the nuts.
Angel, and Karen, we sat in Spirit Airlines for how long? We got there at 4 o'clock in the morning. Angel, right? We were there at 4 o'clock in the morning. They changed our gates. We had to run back through security.
Yep. 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, because he was behind me.
Yep. We went through TSA all over again. We thought we weren't going to make our flight, and then our flight was delayed like 5 hours, right? So and then we get to Nashville.
5.5 hours.
Yep, 5.5 hours on St. Patty's Day. So that was pretty crazy. That was on St. Patty's Day.
So you were able to get some drinking in, yeah?
Oh, we did. We definitely did. So we had a good time. So it was pretty wild, But
but don't feel bad because I had Steve. I had Steve and Jay ask me, why the fuck did you fly Spirit Airlines again? You went through this shit with Spirit Airlines at the last rocket.
That's funny.
Right.
That's funny. I listen, promoters fly me on Spirit and Frontier all the time. And I beg them not to. I said, listen, I got my miles on American, my miles on United, some miles on Delta. I really don't want to fly those other shitty airlines, but sometimes you got it. JetBlue was the worst. JetBlue was the worst. Spirit. The one thing I will say about Spirit, their seats are very comfortable.
Nice.
Frontier is like sitting on a plastic concert seat.
They are.
Frontier is like sitting on a plastic seat.
So Andrew, real quick, I'm keeping it with Angel, but since we're kind of on this topic, let's just kind of tie it in because we were all at Rockin' Pod.
Yep.
So let's talk briefly with ourselves, with Angel and everything. How did you get involved with Rockin' Pod? And then Angel, by all means, take it away right after that.
Well, the promoter had the Rockin' Comic Con, and he called me up and said to me that Jeremy and Ryan Spencer Cook from Ace's band were going to be there. And they were like, well, if Ace, they're going to be there, why don't you bring in a couple of wrestlers? And he goes, well, Andrew Anderson is Ace's bodyguard. He's friends with Ryan. He's friends with Jeremy. And so I was like, you know what? Why not? So they called me up and I said, okay, I'll do it. And I came down. I never did that. I do a lot of Comic Cons. And the first night was the PodCon, the Rockin' Pod. The next day was the Rockin' Comic. The Rockin' Comic thing was not successful. I don't know how it was advertised. The Rockin' PodCon was pretty good. It was a really good time. I mean, anytime you're in Nashville, it's a good time. It's expensive as fuck, but it was a really good time. We had a blast out there. So,
nice, man. Yeah, I mean, Angel will attest to this because we've talked to a bunch of guests about the very interesting what was the West Coast swing, but now what kind of appears to be like the East Coast swing when it comes to like the rock and metal community, especially the 80s scene, because everybody went to LA, of course, to make it. And then when LA was becoming too fake and too plastic and too cluttered, people started moving to Vegas. And I love Vegas. Don't get me wrong. I've got friends that live there. I think Vegas is phenomenal. But again, it's starting to become kind of a bit fake and a little bit plastic and kind of overcluttered. And then you started seeing people pop up in Nashville, which was interesting because at the time, it was still pretty country. But you had John Corabi from Motley Crue go there. You had Tom Kiefer from Cinderella went there. Kid Rock. My buddy Ace Von Johnson, who plays for LA Guns. He's now in Nashville. and he was in Rockin' Pod as well. So there actually is this part of me that's like, I feel like Pennsylvania or something is going to become like the next kind of rock and metal world, as like everything went west and now it's coming back east.
You on that
Well,
one.
listen, I'm in Pennsylvania right now, and we're looking to get out of Pennsylvania. Right
Montana.
we want to like move to like Tampa or something.
I think
like
Montana.
That, you know?
Come to Maryland, dude. We'll hang out.
Well, listen, if you, I'm going to be in Maryland very soon. I think we'll do another Celeb Fest in Baltimore Celeb Fest.
Okay, because I've got some conversation stuff that I'm actually doing with Maryland Championship Wrestling and stuff like that.
Very cool. Well,
So
get me booked on it.
Can I get your contact info from Angel later?
Man, freaking call me, Angel. Give him all my info. You got all my info, brother. He froze on me again.
Yep.
Awesome. There's a slight like there's a small lag between us and Angel, and no problem. But no, I appreciate that, Andrew. I appreciate that, Angel. Angel, it's all you, my man. Let's get back to you, and let's get back to the Metal Summoners.
How did you get involved with wrestling?
I got hooked up with wrestling. I graduated college. I graduated St. Peter's University with a degree in business administration. I became a broker, an investment banker, and I went into some other lucrative things on the side I won't talk about. But eventually, I got into pro wrestling. I was bouncing on the weekends and at metal clubs. And Jimmy Snuka and the Metal Maniac, Jeff Miller, walked in, and Jimmy Snuka said, "I want to talk to you." When I was throwing somebody out, and next thing you know, back then you just couldn't go to a wrestling school and become a wrestler. You had to look the part. There was something called kayfabe, and I went in and you know, it's been what, this past April 28th was 30 years, and I haven't looked back since.
Wow.
Yep.
Nice, man.
Interesting career, right?
Yeah.
What advice would 30 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't play basketball or football that long.
Yeah, I know. And I was diving off the top of steel cages, man. I was doing all the crazy, stupid shit, you know. So, but now I wrestle smart. You know, I'm still doing it. You know, I'm doing it a little less than I was. You know, instead of wrestling 4 times a week or 3 times a week, I'm wrestling maybe once or twice a week. You know, so
life you're about to live.
I slowed down a little bit, but you know, I'm in the best shape of my life. You know, and I've been training really hard, and you know, as long as I look good in my underwear.
It's all about looking good naked, especially for the fiance.
Yep.
Now, Jay and I have a friend, Psycho Steve, that wants to be a wrestler. What advice would you give to someone just starting out in the?
Well, let me ask you a question: Is he a big dude? Oh, he's listen.
Nah,
hey, let me ask you a
dude.
question: Was that his penis size, or was that his size of his body?
I leave it up to your judgment, there, my good sir.
Listen, Psycho Steve, listen to me, okay? I've seen better heads on lettuce, pal. You know what I'm saying? You gotta just get out of the business. Go deliver mail for a living. You don't want to be a wrestler. There's too much competition. It's not like it used to be. It's like you might as well be in a band and hope lightning's going to strike and you're going to get a hit album and make it big. Although these days nobody has hit albums anymore because everything's downloaded. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Everything's it's true. Nobody wants to buy records.
Nobody wants to buy shit anymore. I mean, comic books made a resurgence because of all the Marvel movies and all the DC movies. So comic books have made a resurgence. By the way, I'm also a huge comic book fan, and I collect a lot of action figures. I collect Marvel Legends and Star Wars figures, and you know, I'm a pretty much a what do you call me, a geek?
So real quick, Andrew, Angel, hold that question because we're going to get right to it. But I just wanted to show you, Angel, can you make me the big picture real quick?
I will do my best.
Oh, you're my man, dude. I know you got this. Boom! Thank you,
Trickster. Oh my God, look at that.
So awesome. I mean, I've got all their albums. I love my Trickster. I always have, and getting to know Steve and PJ over the years, dude. I mean, you can attest to this with your relationship with Ace and those guys. Like, I love that band. They're very important to me. But getting to know them now over the years, dude, that's just a bonus, Like that's
They're
just
good dudes, man.
they're
They're
just good
really
dudes.
fucking good
So
dudes.
when they played Record Store
Right.
Day, they had a table of merch with like pictures and stuff like that. And I love my vinyl because I love to hang it. I love to put things up and show off friends or just get to look at it and just be like, I just love to support my buddies. And they had Trickster albums for New Audio Machine. And I was like, oh yeah, that's happening. So
That's
yeah, and Steve and PJ were very kind. So yeah, since we were talking a lot about those cats out, and I just got this, a couple of weeks ago on Record Store Day. I was like, I got to show this off to Andrew because he's gonna dig
That's
it.
awesome. That's awesome, man. That's cool shit. That's great. That's great.
The only thing that's just kind of a bummer is just, well, Pete unfortunately has just kind of left the business. I was actually talking to him about it. Like, Pete's
What about
not really,
Gus?
he's just not doing the touring thing anymore, which is fine. That's cool. But it's kind of a bummer to hear that whatever happened with Gus happened with Gus.
Yeah. Gus is pretty salty about the whole thing.
Yeah. So there's a part of me that's like, hopefully, and maybe something like M3 is a good way to do it. But if Trickster, as we know them, is done, I can understand that. I can respect that. Honestly, me and my girlfriend have this conversation all the time because she knows everything and all things about Avenged Sevenfold. Like, that is her band. It's the most important thing in her life. And it's one of those things where we've talked about it. If that band decides that it's a wrap on them, she's cool with that. She's like, they've been so valuable to me for so long. But if they decide that they have to go different directions, I'm going to support them. I'll support their projects. And I'm still going to be just as big of a fan then as I am now. And I kind of look at it the same way. So there's a part of me that's really hoping for like a one-off just Trickster bash where they play for like 2 hours with the original band and then decide we just can't make it a thing collectively anymore. And then if PJ and Steve keep doing the Trickster thing, then God bless them. But there is that part of me that wants that one-off bash.
Yeah, no. Listen, I think a lot of us had that for Kiss before the '96 reunion.
You're right.
I think a lot of us had that for Kiss. Everybody was loving Peter Criss's Chris Cat 1 album and Ace's solo tours, and I mean, everything was great, and but then all of a sudden out of nowhere they come and they do this reunion tour, which is great. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, so and you never say never. Never say never.
You got it, man. 100%. Angel, back to you. This time, really back to you.
It's lagging. I can't hear you, buddy.
1 second. I hate.
Oh,
this
we got
thing.
him. There we go. That's an interesting question. We've never gotten a question like that before.
Do I know any women who do security? No, I don't. Actually, I don't. I don't know any women who do. No, there was a girl at Creatures Fest who did security. Who was in charge of security. She was. I can't remember her name, but she was really cool. She really ran a tight ship. She worked with one of the guys who worked with Bruce Kulick and everybody else. And I can't remember her name, but she was a sweetheart. And her husband. Yeah, her husband, I think, worked with Bruce, and he also worked with the merch tables and stuff like that. But yeah, there is a girl that I know Rosie Luck would know who she was because Rosie Luck ran a lot of Creatures Fest, which was a good time, and that was in Nashville last Memorial Day weekend.
Never day we die.
And do you think that fame changes people?
Absolutely. Fame. Once you get fame and money change people. That's I think people get big heads. They get attitudes. They think their shit don't stink. And unfortunately, that's part of the business. And I never got super famous, so that I can't say that I it changed me. You know, I never got super rich off it, so I can't say it changed me. But you know, I tried to stay true to me and true to my fans and true to my friends. I never give an attitude about signing an autograph. You know, or speaking with the fans, or checking them out and seeing what they have to offer. They bring me merchandise. They bring me original stuff. Some of the best stuff I have, the coolest shit I have, is made by fans. Home art, home stuff, paintings of myself, and you know, graphic art by fans send me stuff all the time. It's really cool. So yeah, fame can change people really, really, really quickly. I didn't see that last question that was up.
It was a comment. Jules, she's from Montana. She has done 34 punk shows, and she gets a
I
good
like
feeling
throwing
throwing
out douchebags.
out douchebags.
That's funny. That's funny.
Do you throw them out head first or feet first?
If you're hungry, baby, eat, please.
I guess my question is, what's the not glamorous side of being a bodyguard?
What do you mean? I couldn't hear the whole question. Something about being a bodyguard.
Yeah, you cut a little bit, Angel. So pop that at us again.
What's the not so glamorous side of being a bodyguard?
Oh, and you know, you gotta make sure that the client gets to the venue on time. You got to make sure that the client is comfortable. You got to make sure that that you have to go back and do a run through to make sure that the building is secure. That there's no that the road to the venue, the way to the venue, that everything is secure. Where you could have come in the perimeter and everything to make sure that you can get the client into the place on time and everything. So I mean, there's multiple factors in. I mean, that's crazy. The driving too, when you got to drive from point A to point B, sometimes you're tired, you're exhausted. You know, I mean, they get to sleep, you get to drive. Sometimes I'm the driver as well. You know.
Sorry, Mom. That's really cool. Like, I mean, because I think a lot of people too also like don't. What's up, buddy?
I can't hear him.
I'll back up to you.
Oh, back up to me. Cool. No worries. So actually, my girlfriend has a question for you, Andrew. Her ride or die wrestler is the Undertaker, and she was curious if you've ever met him.
I met him a few times, quite a few times. Mark's a great guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
can you tell the fans, us as well as her? Can you tell her like some stories of you getting to meet him, or just?
I just met him backstage. I did some dark matches. That was it at WWE, and I met him backstage. He usually ran the talent coordinating in the back, checking out the new talent. He'd watch and see what people did and criticize, and he pretty much watched over everybody. You know, see what people were doing, what the younger guys were doing. Really nice guy, really good guy.
Nice, man. Right on. Let's talk a little. Let's stay on the wrestling topic a little bit, because I would definitely like to hear a little bit about your relationship with Kevin. Because I mean, Kevin's amazing. I mean, the Taskmaster, his feuding with Hulk Hogan when it was Kevin Sullivan, babe. He was known by the Taskmaster, but he had this that great feuds he did with Hulk Hogan where it was the yellow with red, but Kevin was doing the red with yellow to kind of like go against him and stuff like that. But I would talk a little bit about your relationship with Kevin, because he was at Rock and Pod as well.
Yep, Kevin and I have been friends. We God, I want to say 28 years, 27 years. I've been friends with Kevin for 27 years. Kevin is an amazing individual. He's a historian. He's a not only is he's a history buff. I'm a history buff. We got along because I was this rookie kid that was a history buff, and I think I answered a couple of questions or references, and he wound up taking a liking to me. Eventually, I wound up traveling to 4 different continents with Kevin. I had 5 different continents. I wrestled on 5 different continents with Kevin: Asia, North America, South America, where else? Europe, and Africa. So 5 continents with Kevin.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's super cool though.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously with what you do with Ace is amazing just in itself, but also with your wrestling career, I mean, getting to travel to see these places, these sites, I mean, that's got to be quite a thrill.
Well, you know what? It's been a thrill, but it's also been a nightmare. Like I've told people, I always tell this story because it's a story that Kevin Sullivan, myself, the Barbarian, and the Warlord, collectively known as the Powers of Pain,
Yep.
Val
Powers of
Venus,
Pain.
Val Venus, Shelton Benjamin, Mike Mondo from the Spirit Squad, Slam Shady, trying to think who else. Rick Fuller was my tag team partner. We were all big Rick Fuller from WCW. We were all in Africa, Nigeria, and the Muslims and the Christians were fighting at the time. And I just remember we were held at gunpoint.
Wow.
Our passports were taken, and we just got done doing a press conference at the African Ministry of Sports, their version of the United Nations building, the United Nations of Africa, and somebody drove. We got done. 5 hours later, somebody drove a car bomb into that building, killing 32 people.
What? After you?
2011, right after we left, 5 hours after we left, and that whole floor that we were on was collapsed. We were on like the 6th floor of the building, and it was just collapsed, and it was a shell of a building, and 32 people died, and it was, and then we're held at gunpoint, and we're driving in a van and in this big bus, this tour bus, and they wanted us to go do another show, and we were ready to do this other show when that happened, and in the meantime, I had to take a piss, and they wouldn't let us off the bus. Now, if you've been to Abuja, and in Nigeria, it's one of the most heavily populated places on the planet. So to go 7 miles takes about 6 or 5 hours. Wow. So it's stop and go, and I was getting motion sickness in there, and they didn't have Dramamine, but they had these wristbands that actually worked. So you go stop and go, and your head is shaking like a bobblehead, and just to go 10 feet, and honking and pollution are pretty really bad. It's not. Everybody thinks Africa is a continent of jungles, right?
Yeah.
And it's not. It was a very, very busy area, and congested area, and a lot of poverty and everything, pollution and dirt and filth, and it was really bad, especially in Abuja. So we're going back, and I have to piss, and I just remember we had armed guards with riot gear on, with AK-47s, sitting in the front seat of the van, and I finally said to the Barbarian and his wife, Sienny, I said to her, I said, Mama, I said, I gotta go. And she said, don't. She goes, don't say nothing. I said, I gotta go. And I remember Barbarian, monster of a man, one of the toughest men on the planet, literally I put him up against any MMA fighter in the world, him and Haku, were 2 of the toughest guys on the planet. But Barb said to me, Drew, sit down, please sit down. I said, I gotta pee, Barb. I got up and I knocked on the guy's helmet. I rapped on the guy's helmet and said, excuse me go pee-pee, The guy took the gun, and I put my finger in the barrel of the gun. I said, you can shoot me, but you're going to shoot me on a full bladder, on an empty bladder, because I got a full bladder. I got to piss. I got out, and as soon as we got out, somebody came out of the back of the bus, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm fucking dead. They're going to fucking put a bullet in my head, and I'm thinking my kids are going to be kids are going to be orphans. And I'm like, what the fuck? And next thing I know, they're pushing these mirrors underneath the van to make sure, the bus, to make sure there are no bombs under there. So I get this epiphany now. They didn't shoot me. So I get on the bus and I'm strutting my shit. And I go, guys, look, I'm here. They're trying to help us. They don't want us to get blown up by terrorists. They're looking for bombs. They're here to protect us. We didn't know any better, You're shuffled into, your passports are taken. You shuffled into a fucking van, and then brought into a bus, and you got guys with guns that are armed security watching you. You don't know what the fuck's going on. You're being kidnapped. You're being sent out to get a hostage or what? So it's been crazy. It was crazy. And Kevin was with me on that. Kevin tells everybody the story. Kevin goes with his Boston accent. So Drew sticks his finger in the fucking barrel of the gun. Like a fucking Bugs Bunny cartoon.
I know, seriously. That's fucking awesome. So I got a couple of things I want to ask real quick. Metal Summoners, stay with us because I'm kicking it up to Angel in a second. So we're going to get to all of your questions when he takes over the segment. But there's a couple of wrestling things that I wanted to address real quick while I've got Andrew on my segment. So and the one thing is the thing that's so crazy about that story, Drew, is when and I'm sure you're familiar with this series of Dark Side of the Ring things that are going on. It reminds me of like when the WCW guys went to North Korea.
Yep, with Muhammad Ali, right?
Yeah, because they were talking about being like locked down, and I think it was Norton. I think it was Scott Norton talking about how he was talking on the phone to his wife because he finally was able to talk to his wife, and his wife was chewing him out for like, what are you doing? Where have you been? Why haven't you called? And he's like, babe, you don't understand. Like, I'm locked down. The rooms suck. Like, everything about this I hate. And the line went dead. And right after that, he got like a knock on his hotel room door where it was the people being like, dude, like, you can't they're like, you can't be saying that on the phone. Like, you can't do this, that,
no anti-government responses or opposition. And Scott Norton is a really good friend of mine.
And,
awesome. Him and I talked about this numerous times. And Scott told me that they literally came to his room and they basically, it was like their version of the KGB, the North Korean version of the KGB. Came in and effectively shut him down.
Yeah, there was another guy. It might have been Scott as well, but there was a crazy story on that episode about them playing pool and accidentally shooting a pool ball off the table, literally by accident, and it just seemed like the biggest insult when it happened.
Yeah. I never heard that story. I didn't watch that Dark Side of the Ring one. I saw a lot of them, but I didn't see that one.
No, totally. And the other one I wanted to touch base on, and let fans, I'm precursing this for you, but I'm also precursing this for Andrew. We are a very respectful show. We love our guests, and this is a positive show. Due to your relationship with Kevin Sullivan, I can imagine that you maybe knew or were friends with Nancy.
Yeah.
My only thing is, again, we're a very positive show. Do you have any fond memories of her when you knew her?
She was not a nice person.
Okay.
She was not a nice person to Kevin. I don't know what the whole dynamic was there, but when I met her, she was not very friendly. She was already married to Chris at the time. I really didn't know her that well. All I know is that a lot of the stuff that was said on that show about Kevin beating her up was not true and was unfounded, and her sister lied about a lot of stuff, and Kevin threatened to sue Dark Side of the Ring, and Dark Side of the Ring said they couldn't sue because they asked him to do the show to initially to defend himself, and he refused not to do it, so he couldn't sue. But eventually it came to light that Kevin really never did that, and they apologized to him, and now Kevin's been doing the territories for Vice TV, so he's on almost every episode. Nice. He's been on every episode except I think the Texas one, and I think one other one. I don't know, Puerto Rico, I think so. But so he was exonerated on that, and I mean, it was like they try to go after. There's a lot of truth in those episodes, but there's also a lot of I don't know what the word would be. They blow it out of proportion. Some stuff has been blown out of proportion. Some stuff with the Jimmy Snuka murder case was blown out of proportion. I knew Jimmy very well. Like I said, he broke me into the business. He was like my pop. I always say every podcast and every interview I do, I always say I had three dads in the business. Jimmy Snuka brought me into the business, was my pop. Kevin Sullivan, basically gave me my first big push, so I call him Papa, like Papa Smurf, because he's diminutive. Yep. And then Greg Valentine, I call him Dad because Greg Valentine taught me how to make money.
Oh, so, that's awesome. No, for sure. And we appreciate that, Andrew. And like I said, Angel and I are very aggressive about this. This is a positive driven show. You know, we don't try,
Yep.
we're very careful and understanding about topics or things we need to ask. But I can also understand 100% where you come from. So, and I'll give you an example. So, one of my dearest friends, one of my very best friends for 10 years is Janet, who is the ex-wife of Richard Black and XPW. So she and I had a private conversation off the air because she and her boyfriend have done the show a couple of times. And I don't, she knows I know everything. Like I said, she's my best friend. We don't really talk about that kind of stuff because I didn't know her in that life.
Yeah.
I know what she does now. But, and I'm all about it. But it's that same kind of thing. So I had actually spoken to her because they did an XPW episode. And I was like, when she and I and Mark, we were all on the phone together. I was like, Janet, can I ask you a question? She's like, absolutely. I was like, so look, there's this show out there. They've done a bunch of very great episodes. They seem to do their research very well. I'm sure that they reached out to you, but they did an XPW episode. I personally was not fond of it. It's nothing against the promoters or those host guys. I don't know them. I'm sure they're fine dudes, but I don't know them personally. I was not fond of the way the episode was done. I didn't like the way you were portrayed, but it's cool. Did they reach out to you? And she was like, yes, they did. I've left that episode behind. I've left that life behind me. They told me how the episode was being designed, and I didn't really like the way it was being designed, which was the main reason why I declined to be involved in it. Because, again, she didn't slander them by any means. She just did what was best that she felt for her and her family now.
Yeah.
She didn't like the way it was being set up. So I definitely understand where you're coming from for that, because I know more than most when it comes to that thing. And I was just like, you know what? No, you're fine, Janet. I totally understand. She knows I have her back. But I remember watching that episode, and while I understood that they did the best they could do, they didn't have her and they didn't have Richard because he declined as well, which really, and fans, for the record, this is only my personal opinion. I think by not having either of them, they should have scrapped the episode, because I don't think you're going to get it right without one.
It didn't make it. It wasn't as personal.
Yeah,
it wasn't as personal with them in it. With like I said, the whole thing with Vice TV is, look, the bottom line is they want to sell ads and they want to sell the show.
Sure.
So it comes down to money.
Yeah.
So I read something recently that Vice was going bankrupt.
I saw that today, actually. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that, but I stumbled across that today.
They filed for bankruptcy, and there something's going on there. I don't know the truth in it. It was on social media, so who the hell knows? So there's always a sliver of truth in everything, right?
Exactly, because they also just announced the 4th season, and they've announced a couple of episodes, and apparently that Marty Jannetty episode is supposed to be heavy as hell.
Marty's a good friend of mine too, and Marty's a character, man, and Marty and actually also Pat Tanaka is good friends with Marty, and Marty and Pat Tanaka are two good friends of mine, and I'm sure Pat is a important part of that episode. So I don't know how that's going to run. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Marty's been portrayed as he's been portrayed negative. He's also he's a tortured soul. Was, at least for a while there. I hope he's doing better, and I wish him the best. I love Marty. Listen. Marty was my drinking partner. Marty was my partying partner, and Marty's a good dude. So, I know
absolutely.
Everybody does in this business. So
100%. The only thing that I had heard recently about apparently that episode being very heavy was because I run a lot of the social medias for the Metal Summit, and we do have a TikTok page, and I actually stumbled across a small TikTok video that Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer did, where he said he talked or got like some kind of a sneak preview about the Marty episode, and he said it's supposed to be very heavy and very like kind of crazy and stuff. So it'll be interesting. But no, I did find that interesting, Andrew, just like you said that you just saw the thing about Vice TV because they've been working on the new season and promoting the new season. So I think that's definitely crazy. But also thank you so much as well, because that's a heavy topic. That's especially with somebody that's as close to you as Kevin and that particular family type situation. So it's important for me to say, as well as for the fans to hear, that we do appreciate you touching base on that, because some topics are very, very tricky and we try to be very respectful.
Listen, I get it, man. I mean, people want to have questions. There's people want answers, and there's stuff that I don't even have answers for, like with the Jimmy Snuka thing.
Yeah.
Everybody says he killed this girl, Nancy Argentino, and I don't know. I mean, I'm friends with Carol Snuka, Jimmy's widow, and Jimmy was like a dad to me, and I'd be on the road with him, and Jimmy would look at me, and Jimmy would say to me, "Brother, you think I killed that girl?" And I'd look at him and go, "No, Pop, no, I don't think you hurt anybody." Yeah. And he put the glasses down. He did the original people's eyebrow before freaking The Rock did, and he'd look at me and go, "Good answer, brother." But you don't know what really happened. I mean, I heard stories that it happened during a coked up rage, because Jimmy was Jimmy liked the gimmick. He liked the, so back then in the day, but everybody did.
To go skiing.
Yeah, we all went skiing, man.
Nope.
I mean, I did my impression of a Hoover-Matic Deluxe.
No, me too. My girlfriend's aware of that. Like, totally. I was a part of that life.
I mean, we all were. Look at the metal and wrestling lifestyles have crossed for generations.
Yeah,
for generations, we all ran hand in hand, pretty much.
No, 100%, my friend. But again, we do appreciate it for sure. We always want to make sure that we acknowledge the appreciation on certain topics for sure. And this is, of course, no exception. So thank you, Andrew. We appreciate that as well, man. 100%. Angel, let's kick it back up to you, because it looks like Jules really has some questions that she wants to ask.
Yes, she has a lot of questions, and I finally got this damn Wi-Fi fix. Fuck you, Xfinity. You stink. You suck. I hate you.
Yeah, but you sound good now, brother, so take it away.
Tell them how you really feel, Angel. Give them help, brother.
Exactly, and I still hate you, Spirit Airlines. 5.5 hour delay, damn. But let's get to Jules' question.
What song do I come on
stage to?
I have actually a song by a band called Rook. Tony Senatore is the bass player, and God, I can't think of the guitar player's name, but they did some original music for me. But for years I came out to Out in the Cold by Judas Priest.
And how do you mentally prepare yourself for a wrestling match?
How do I mentally prepare myself? I have a shot of Jack Daniels and a Xanax.
It's a good question. Do you feel confident about being a person who kids look up to?
Oh God. If you ask my daughters, they would disagree. But I mean, look, I'm trying to be a better person than I was. Every day I try to be a better person than I was the day before. I mean, we all atone for the things that we did in our past lives growing up, and when you're younger, you do stupid shit. So was I a role model? Probably not. Do I want to be a role model? If anything positive can come from my career and from my knowledge, I would definitely like to contribute a positive influence on somebody's life. That's always a positive thing and a great thing to do. Have I tried to be a role model when I know, I try to do the best that I can in every aspect of my life now, especially now that I'm more aware of people that I've hurt, bridges that I've burned, and people that I've probably done wrong by, So I don't want to be that guy.
Here's a question to follow up. Would you be happy if your daughters dated a wrestler or rock star?
Absolutely fucking not.
And do you think women in the wrestling world are objectified?
No, I don't think so at all. Because you know what? I think women in the wrestling world right now, at this stage of the game, they're better athletes than most of the guys. They look great. They try to look great. They do the best they can, and they know that they look good, and they use that to their advantage. So as being objectified, no, I think they put themselves in the spotlight. If you got a really nice set of tits and you run out there in a tight outfit, you're showing it off because you can show it off, and you want people to say, "Look at my ass, look at my tits," and you got the athletic ability to back it up. I said, so I don't think they're being objectified. You know what I'm saying? It's like the girl that walks around in a bar dressed up in skimpy clothes and somebody stares at her ass and she gets pissed. It's like, what are you dressing like that for? You want to be looked at. That's the bottom line. I mean, it's to an extent it can be considered, but I don't think so anymore. I don't think so anymore. Like I said, the girls in the wrestling business are great athletes. They're phenomenal. And, it's just a totally different product, and it's a different world now than it was 15, 20, even 5 years ago.
And are there any rituals that you do to prepare for a match?
To prepare for a match? No, one of the things I like to do when I wrestle, because now everybody's younger than me. I'm the old grizzled vet, as you want to call it, or the elder statesman in the match now. There are guys that want to do whatever they say. They come to me and they say, "Listen, I've been on TV with AEW, and this is what I want to do, or this is what I got to do." Don't tell me that. Let's call it all in the ring. See you out there. See how far that gets you. So that's the one thing. But as far as rituals, the only ritual that I have is when I fly. I always take my Captain America Marvel Legend action figure with me. I always had a Captain America action figure my whole career. Kevin Sullivan used to throw it in the toilet when we roomed together everywhere often in the 90s. I always had a Captain America figure with me. I always did that. And he'd be like thrown in the toilet. I'd wake up in the morning. It's not on the freaking dresser. It's in the fucking toilet. I knew right away. So, I brought hot dog tongs with me because that's how I'd get them out of the toilet. So I'd travel with hot dog tongs in the 90s because I knew I'd have to pull something out of the toilet that he was ribbing me with.
Nice.
And here's a really good question. Can you speak about self-confidence and mental health and how it affects you as a public figure?
Well, you know what? My girlfriend actually just walked out. She's actually a trauma therapist that deals with mental health and stuff like that. So she's a trauma therapist. She was actually one of the therapists that was actually instrumental in putting away Bill Cosby as a sex offender.
Really?
So, yeah. So she just left the room. But as far as mental health, can you give me that question again real quick?
Yeah. Let me pop up the question.
Self-confidence. Self-confidence is it's all about insecurity. Everybody's a little insecure with themselves, and I think once you learn to deal with it, you build up a level of confidence, so people can relate to the people. I mean, if you're not confident about your own ability and about what you want to do and the character that you want to project, the fans are not gonna buy into you. And mental health is how it affects me as a public figure. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to hear people bash you and say shit about you, negative things about you that don't really know you. That affects you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're still people. I mean, people are in whether it's in the music industry, sports figures or as sports entertainment or entertainment industry, you're still people. You don't want to get shit on by the public and people in general. I mean, that affects people's mental health. Is that a good answer? I mean, that's the best I have. I mean,
Yeah, that's a good answer.
did I understand? I don't even know if I really understood that question properly.
No, she just wanted you to speak about self-confidence and how it affects you as a public figure.
I'm pretty much confident. I mean, I've been called cocky, you know, which is one of the reasons why I said if you know, like as far as being a role model, you know, I mean, I tried, like when I remember being a kid, my daughter was a little kid and I went to school to speak up, and they put me on the one of the first anti-bullying commissions in the country, in the state of New Jersey, absolutely, but in the country as well. It was Richfield, New Jersey. I was on the anti-bullying committee, and one of the things I would say when we'd come up to do these speaking engagements was what I'd say to the people. I'd say, you know, I've been bullied. I'm not a bully, but I play a bully on TV. So, and you know, I've been bullied I was bullied by my brother as a child. My brother beat me up almost every day, routinely on the bus to Paramus Catholic High School. You know, when I was going to Catholic school as a kid, my brother beat me up every day in the 80s. You know, beat the shit out of me until one day I didn't take it anymore. You know, and you know, it's just the way it is. In other words, my brother's a dick, always will be. So.
Oh, we all have that brother.
That.
Yeah, well, we all have that brother.
So here's my beautiful therapist, girlfriend, fiance, who could probably answer that question again. Let me have that question again. Let me see what she can say.
Yeah. I mean, she's more than welcome to partake.
Karen, can you speak about self-confidence and mental health and how it affects you as a public figure? What do you think about that?
I'm not sure.
She said she's not sure. Well, there goes our expert witness, ladies and gentlemen.
Outside of wrestling,
I really didn't understand the question totally myself. So,
you know, I'll take one more if you.
I guess he just wanted you to speak on how mental health affects you as a public figure, because being that nowadays, everybody's a critic.
It affects. I think mental health is important. I mean, when you're a public figure, you're under the microscope. You know, I mean, people look at you in a different light.
So outside of wrestling, you mentioned you was involved in a TV project. Just wondering if you're allowed to talk about the project you're involved
I'll just give you a little bit of it. It's a Marvel series. It's Disney Plus, and it's about a blind guy. So that's all I'll say. So
yeah,
I play a very bad villain. So. I played one of the villains in Gotham too on Fox.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's steer that a little bit into just let's stay in the Marvel comic book world. I mean, you said you were a fan, so why don't you talk a little bit about comic books, man?
Oh man, I love comics. I love I was a fan of the Avengers and the X-Men before anyone knew who Wolverine was, you know? I mean, Captain America, Hawkeye, all those characters. I grew up with all that stuff. I mean, I'm a big comic fan. I have a huge comic book collection. I have action figures all over my house. Matter of fact, Karen's trying to figure out where the fuck we're going to put all this stuff, you know. But I got containers coming out of my storage units, back into my storage units, back and forth. It's just crazy, you know.
Nice. What character got you into it?
I was always a Captain America fan, hence carrying the Captain America action figure with me, you know, on tour and on every time I fly. I've always been an Avengers fan. I like Doctor Doom. I always love the heels. The good heels are what it's all about. Doctor Doom, the Red Skull, you know, Magneto. I mean, you can't have a good baby face without a good heel. You know?
Yeah, I'm a Joker guy myself.
Joker's pretty cool. He's a badass, man.
Yeah, so. Which is actually funny because my girlfriend is and this is just the clearest definition of good luck meets irony. She's a huge Harley Quinn fan.
Wow. There you go, man.
Yeah, and I'd been a long time Joker guy, and I managed to find my own Harley Quinn.
I got my Guardians of the Galaxy freak behind me right here. So
nice.
She's jonesing for the Guardians of the Galaxy movie coming up.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So you guys are gonna go see that, yeah?
Yeah, I think we're gonna do it tomorrow night at midnight.
Oh, a midnight showing?
Yeah.
Sick. That's
Well,
awesome. Yeah. Oh, that's true. Oh, it's not out yet. It's not out yet.
No.
I think it's out tomorrow, the 5th. It's out on the 5th.
Oh, okay.
So tomorrow
Gotcha.
night it's the premiere.
Nice.
Thursday
That's
night midnight show. Back in college, did you think that you would be where you are now? You know what? When I was in college, I always knew I would be somebody, like the song from Wasp. I always knew I'd be somebody. I just didn't know where the fuck I would be doing and what I would be, So, but when, I always knew something was going to happen. I mean, I was either going to be, I always wanted to be a rock star, but I wound up getting into wrestling, I loved music and different paths, I mean, I like to fight too. So I'm yawning right now. I'm just yawning. I'm so freaking tired. Had an early day, but yeah, I always like to fight. I mean, when I mean fight, I mean I like to box. I like to wrestle, and getting into professional wrestling was an easy. I never thought I was big enough. At 6 foot, and when I was growing up, I was 180 pounds, 200 pounds. Now I'm 285 pounds. I was at one time I was 317. When during my powerlifting days, I was 317, all gassed up. I was on the shit. Bigger was better, but now, at the age of 55, you can't carry that frame anymore,
Sure.
So now I'm more streamlined. I'm having fun, it's pretty cool. To be I'm sorry, I'm yawning. You guys are not boring me. Well, Angel hasn't been talking, but, come on, Angel. What the fuck? Wake the fuck up.
Well, let me ask you something real quick while you're busting Angel's chops. So a line has been drawn in the sand, and you have to pick a side. Are you Marvel or DC?
100% Marvel. I think the Hulk would kick Superman's fucking ass any day of the fucking week. I don't give a crap. I think freaking Thor. First of all, people say, "Oh, Superman's stronger than Thor." You know what I say? Superman can't deal with magic. He'll hit him with Mjolnir and freaking fuck him up in one shot.
I love it.
So,
like me personally, you and I will be feuding because I'm a DC guy, but that's only because the thing is, like I said, I'm a Joker fan. My girlfriend's a Harley Quinn fan, but like there was always something about DC that just kind of seemed darker.
Yep.
And being that I'm such a horror movie fanatic,
me too.
I was always really drawn to that. Love Marvel. Don't get me wrong. Like I've seen the Spider-Mans and I've seen some of the Avengers and I've seen a lot of that stuff. I like and the Daredevil movies and stuff like that. Venom and Venom versus Carnage. I've seen all that stuff. I think it's great. I enjoyed it. It's fantastic. But there was always just something about the way that the DC movies were gone that just seemed a bit darker. That drew me.
I will tell you one thing. I love the DC movies because the DC movies have been faithful to the characters, the costumes. Marvel can't get it fucking right. Iron Man was cool. They destroyed Captain America's costume how many fucking times? What's his name? The new Captain America has the costume faithful to the comics. But as far as everybody else, the X-Men in black freaking tights. Come on, it looked like shit. Hugh Jackman never was 6'5" or 6'3" or whatever he was, and Wolverine's freaking 5'4". Come on, I mean, give me a break. All right, I just don't. I never got it. I mean, Thor Love and Thunder was the biggest piece of shit movie I ever saw. It was a spoof. It was it was stupid. Ragnarok was kind of pushing the envelope with the goofiness, but Love and Thunder was the drizzling shits. The storyline sucked. The God Butcher was horrible. It was basically talking like Batman in the whole movie. Come on, there's so much fucking. I can't stand the Marvel movies.
What do you think of Margot Robbie's portrayal of Harley Quinn? Margaret Robbie's portrayal of Harley Quinn. Megan is not a fan. I'm just curious what your thoughts are.
I don't really know much about Harley Quinn except for the animated cartoon, and I thought she was okay. She was a little too the whole daddy's little girl thing. I don't know if that was really. I think that was how it was in the comics with the Joker. I don't really know. But I mean, I liked it. I didn't like the second Suicide Squad movie.
Oh, The Suicide Squad, the one that had John Cena.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Neither of them.
Yeah, that was weird, dude.
Yeah, it was kind of odd. You know,
Yeah.
I did like the Justice League movie. I didn't see the Snyder cut yet, but I did like the Justice League movie. I did like the Batman movies. It's so convoluted now.
Yeah.
And I think Marvel's starting to do the same thing with Spider-Man. So it's just like all this multiverse shit is getting ridiculous.
Yeah,
Keep
I've
it in
heard
one
these
fucking universe.
rumors.
Stop confusing everybody.
Facts. I there are these rumors that there's like a Snyder cut of the first Suicide Squad movie that's supposed to be coming out. Well, I'm really rooting for that to come out because the thing is, again, I am a Joker fan. I did like Jared Leto's portrayal of the Joker,
Ew.
but
I did not like it. I did not like that.
Well,
High five to that
that's
one.
all right, dude. You got my girlfriend on your side. She's literally on the couch right now going like, yeah, dude, fuck that guy. But like the thing is, I'm a fan of Jared Leto. I always have been in all of his other roles. But the other thing is, I liked his portrayal, but that has more to do with the fact that as a Joker fan, I liked the direction they took that Joker because I remember my friend Johnny Shivers, who's got a really excellent horror punk band called Sonic Creeps. He loves the Joker, but he hates that portrayal. He's like, dude, the Joker had a grill. I'm like, he didn't have a grill.
Yes, he did.
He did. Yes, babe, you're right. But the thing is, it wasn't a grill. It was because it was based off Jason Todd and a combination of Jason Todd and Tim Drake, where the Joker broke his teeth out with a crowbar.
Wow.
Because
I remember that.
Because he beat him to death in
Killing Joke. The Killing Joke.
Yeah, the Killing Joke and a Death in the Family.
Yeah.
And then you had the Tim Drake, which was when he got had Joker DNA put in him to be able to come back as the Joker. And then you had then you had Jason Todd, who was murdered by the Joker because he was beat to death with a crowbar, but that included having his teeth all broken out. So it was kind of this hybrid thing. So yeah, I liked
I didn't get the character. I thought it was too like I liked what's his name as the Joker?
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger was great.
Fantastic.
Heath Ledger was just tremendous. Fantastic.
Amazing
hands down. And of course, Jack Nicholson was great.
Jack Nicholson. Totally. And totally the big thing, and the funny thing is because like, dude, my girlfriend loves me. She won't let me go anywhere, without her because she just doesn't trust the other bitches of the world, which is all good. But the funny thing is I want to see the new Joker movie because it's a Joker movie. She is super not stoked about Lady Gaga playing this like crack whore looking version of Harley Quinn because she is very no, babe, you can get involved in this. It's all good. We're talking comic books. She is super not stoked with the way that Lady Gaga is coming off playing this kind of cracked out version of Harley Quinn because Megan's very protective of Harley Quinn. So I'm like, well, babe, I might have to fly solo because I gotta see it. It's a Joker movie. I gotta go. She's like, well, then I'm going to have to suffer through it because I'm not letting your ass go to the movies around all these other bitches that are going to hit on you.
That's funny. Yeah, but I thought the biggest thing, Marvel can't do anything right. And I just thought the biggest travesty that Marvel did was Submariner. They ruined him. They destroyed the Submariner. They made the Submariner into a freaking goof. They basically made him into a freaking Taco Bell commercial. It was horrible. It was horrible what they did with him. They made him into an Aztec. It had nothing to do with Namor, nothing to do with Atlantis. They were so afraid about him competing with Jason Momoa, who Jason Momoa was basically the Rock in with long hair in the movie. Gotcha. That's what it was basically. That's what it was. He was
Yep.
They made the Submariner Samoan, and they made the Submariner Mexican, and Jason Momoa's character Samoan.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, like Megan was just asking, because you said you're familiar with the anime version of Harley Quinn and the Joker and stuff, right?
Series.
The animated series.
Yeah, the animated series.
Yeah, dude, she does a killer impression of Harley Quinn, man. It's so good.
That's funny.
Totally.
That's funny.
It's really, really good for sure, man. The next time that we're, because she was at Rockin' Pod too, but obviously we were all like taking care of stuff and working and stuff like that. But you'll get to meet her because she comes to MCW with me, so you'll probably get to meet her then.
Awesome, man. You got to get me booked first. You got to talk. Who runs that? McDivitt?
So, well, what I'll do is I'll get all the info from Angel, and then you and I will talk. I've got Dennis's contact. So obviously, the owner of MCW is Dan McDevitt.
Dan McDevitt, yep.
Great dude. But I've got the contact information for Dennis, who's the vice president of MCW.
All right,
because
awesome.
me and I are talking about me getting kind of involved with MCW, kind of on behalf of the Metal Summit, because there's a fan fest coming up, and he wants podcasters to be there. Angel, I'll hit you up as well and let you know the dates. And if it's something that you and your girlfriend can maybe come to, dude, you know, you're my right-hand man, dude. I would love to have you there, but I'll let you know about that.
Awesome.
But,
sounds great.
So Drew, I'll make sure that you have all that info.
Thank you, buddy.
Absolutely. Angel, let's kick it back up to you, my friend. Fans, Metal Summoners, fans of Andrew, it is last call for alcohol. Final questions, comments, anything that you want to ask Andrew about his acting, his wrestling, or Ace Frehley in the music business, now's the time to get that in, fans, so we can make sure that all of your questions get asked. But Angel, take it away, my guy.
Favorite place you've traveled to?
Japan and Hawaii. Oh, actually, the Maldives. I just got back from the Maldives, so the Maldives.
Weird question. Your favorite breed of dog?
German Shepherd.
I think that was a first for that question.
Yeah. And kick it right back up to you. That's the last of the questions.
No worries. Yeah, take your time, fans. Angel and I are going to spin around the table one more time before we allow Andrew to enjoy his evening and spend time with his fiance. So we're gonna bounce back and forth a little bit. Any questions that pop up, fans, we will make sure that we get them answered. So Andrew, talk a little bit about what you've got going for 2023, man, that you can talk about.
Oh man, well, I got, like I said, I'm involved in the Marvel project that I'm doing. I'm on one of the series that's coming up on Disney Plus. I got a lot of conventions coming up. I'm doing the Heroes and Legends Con in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. I have the Gathering in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's August 3rd to the 6th. Multiple shows everywhere. I mean, I'm wrestling all over the country. I mean, June 3rd, I'm wrestling in, is it 3rd or is it the 5th? June 3rd or the 5th, I'm wrestling in Illinois, Belleville, Illinois, in a cage match with Flash Flanagan, a longtime indie veteran. You know, so me and Flash are in the cage there for Herb Simmons' SICW promotion. Then I go back do some spot shows in Jersey, New York. It's nonstop. It's something that, you know, it's a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm going to be going back on tour with Ace. I know he's doing July 9th, I want to say, and I think that's in Connecticut. And then he's got some string of shows in Texas. I don't have all the dates on that, but. And then I'm back to Costa Rica. I'm going to Costa Rica with my fiance. We have a house in Costa Rica. And I'll be chilling there, laying on the beach. You know, that's basically it.
Nice, man. Absolutely. For sure. So one of the things that we definitely want to make sure that you get out there is so talk a little bit about your socials, as well as you mentioned earlier about merch for fans that have watched the show, especially myself, because Angel and myself, we had so many interviews and everything because I walked by your table. You and I actually did speak for a couple of seconds as well, but I really wasn't able to stay at the table for very long because I only had a small gap between interviews. So I wasn't able to get like a photo, a sign, or any of your merch. If you have a web store, please, dude, promote it because I would also love to place an order of my own.
Well, the best way to get a hold of me right now is on Facebook Messenger. You just message me Andrew Anderson on Facebook, or then there's the Reinforcer Andrew Anderson fan page and another Andrew Anderson fan page. So I got multiple fan pages. You can reach me at Drew the Wrestler on Twitter, Andrew the Reinforcer on Instagram. But basically, my agents handle the Instagram and the Twitter. I do the because I got a little political, so they kind of cut me off at the heels. So with that, so now I just basically do I don't do the fan pages as much as they do that. I do the Andrew Anderson regular Facebook page, and you can reach me on that messenger. And it's a big picture of me in flames on it, so they'll know who I am. You can't miss me. So, but yeah, it's you want to get T-shirts. Go to prowrestlingtees.com /Andrew Anderson, Andrew the Reinforcer, or the Purple Haze. It's got all that merchandise on prowrestlingtees.com. And also you can Google my name on tpublic.com, and you can find my T-shirts on TeePublic as well. I got tired of carrying T-shirts with me to all the shows and the events, and so I just give them a discount card for TeePublic or Pro Wrestling Tees so they can order through there.
Nice. If somebody wanted like an 8x10 or something, do they message you directly?
Message me directly. Yeah. Message me directly for the 8x10s. So
awesome.
Or they can message you guys and you guys forward them to me.
What's up, dude?
Or they can message you guys and you guys just message me.
Yeah, absolutely, fans. Absolutely. If there's anything, because we definitely have wrestling fans that are fans of our show. So guys, definitely. We have contact information for Andrew. So if you guys want something and sign stuff for him, let us know. Andrew, would you also maybe be interested in maybe doing something like a giveaway for the fans or something?
Absolutely. You let me know what you want to do and we'll hook it up.
Awesome. No problem. Definitely. Fans, we appreciate you guys, and make sure that you're supporting Andrew as well. Angel, let me kick it back up to you right quick, my man, if there's anything else you wanted to go with.
Worst injury you've gotten?
Ooh.
I tore my ACL in 2008.
Oh.
Had ACL surgery in the ring.
Was that our final fan question, Angel, my friend?
Yep, that's the final one.
Gotcha, man. Yep. No problem. Anything else that you want to touch base on, my guy?
Bro, listen, thank you for having me on. It's been a blast. Angel, good seeing you, man. Good seeing you again. You know, guys, thanks for having me on, bro.
Same here.
Keep the faith, man, and just remember, I don't like the Jared Leader Joker. I'm sorry, but I gotta tell you one thing. I'll give you one thing. I think the Joker would fuck up the Red Skull.
Yes.
So
100% he would, absolutely.
But I think Batman would get his ass kicked by Captain America. Anyone who walks up to Thanos and punches him in the face, that's it.
Nice. Michael Keaton. No, dude, Megan's right over here being like, "I'm not Michael Keaton." Did you see that they're bringing him back for the Flash, dude?
That's amazing, right?
Yeah,
that's amazing. I already got the action.
Out, dude. She's like, I can't believe it.
I got the action figure on pre-order from McFarlane Toys.
Oh, for real? They're doing an action figure for that?
Yeah, and with the classic Batmobile from him.
Oh, nice. She's literally like, oh my God. She's like, great. Thanks for giving me something to buy.
Listen, I listen, man. I'd rather have you buy Marvel figures, but you know.
No, there's nothing wrong with Marvel figures for sure, man. But Andrew, thank you so much, man. We really appreciate you taking some time out of your evening. We appreciate your fiance as well for allowing you to do the show as well. We really appreciate both of your time.
Thank you, guys. It was great being a guest on your show, and thanks for having me. And man, we'll see each other maybe hopefully down the road at MCW or the next Rockin' PodCon, man. Have fun at
That'd be
MC3.
great. Absolutely. I'll get your contact info from Angel, man, and you'll definitely hear from me in the next couple of days, man. And hopefully we can make Celeb Fest a thing, but also
let's
just
do it.
MCW thing. That'd be great, brother.
Let's do it, man. All right.
Absolutely. We appreciate you so much, man. Thank you so much. Metal Summoners, we thank you guys so much. Thank you guys every week for tuning in. Just a great time with us. Angel and I can't be more just appreciative of you guys. Thank you so much for fans that continually buy t-shirts of the show. Make sure that, anybody who wants merch, t-shirts for the Metal Summit, reach out to me on Facebook at Jay Oakley or on Instagram at just a RNR junkie, and I will get you all taken care of. And keep sending me and Angel those photos. We really love seeing you guys in the merch. I know that's something that Andrew can appreciate as well. That he loves seeing you and his merch and stuff like that. So
you guys got to send me a Metal Summit t-shirt.
What size do you wear, bro?
Extra large.
I got you covered, man. We'll be in touch, and I'll get you taken care of.
You got it, brother. Hey,
absolutely,
man, good seeing you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Happy to have you, brother. Make sure that you're following Andrew Anderson at all of his socials. Make sure you're following him at The Enforcer and everything that he's got going on. Support him on when he's out with Ace Frehley. And even if he's got conflicts, make sure that you're just supporting Ace anytime he comes out. He's got a new album coming, so make sure that you guys are showing Ace a lot of love. Thank you guys so much.
Produced by Steve Brown.
And Steve Brown, absolutely. And supporting Steve Brown, produced by Steve Brown, and support Steve Brown and PJ Farley, both who are alums of this show, with Trickster Acoustic and everything that they've got going on. You got PJ out with Fozzy. You got Steve doing Rubik's Cube stuff. A lot of TMS alumni all over. Andrew, you're an alumni now as well, man. Anything you need from us, you reach out.
Thank you, guys. Great seeing you, man. Have a great rest of the week, all right?
Pleasure, man. Enjoy the rest of your evening. So, Metal Summoners, you guys take care. We got a great episode next week. We're looking forward to it. We will put out the announcement over the weekend, but look forward to seeing who we got coming up for you guys. Angel and I are going to be live a lot over the weekend because it is M3 weekend, friends. So we got interviews coming at you guys, and we are really excited to announce those and let you know who we're going to be talking to. So take care of each other, you guys. Have a great weekend. Look out for each other. We'll see you guys next week. And again, support Andrew Anderson and everything he's got going on. On behalf of Andrew, on behalf of Angel Alamo, make sure you're supporting Angel on Angel Alamo for both on Twitter and on Instagram and on Facebook. Support myself right here on Just a Rock and Roll Junkie, Just a R&R Junkie on Instagram. And you can find me on Facebook. Bobby Dreyer at BobbyDreyer.com and Steve Prestup at The Real Psycho Steve on Instagram. Thank you guys so much. On behalf of Andrew Anderson, we appreciate him so much for rocking out. We will see you guys next weekend. Take care of each other. We love you guys. As always, you've been watching The Metal Summit.